Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. It's been a really long time and I wasn't planning on doing any updates, but whenever I come across people's year-end videos or year-end content, I always feel like I need to do that because they're like such a great reminder for me, and it's so much fun looking back at like what was my best and what was my worst, and then once I make that list I'm like, oh, now I feel like I want to share it. So that's what I'm doing today. Today I am going to be discussing the best TV shows and movies I watched in 2023. So that means they didn't necessarily come out in 2023. I actually rewatched a lot of really good stuff, and like to shorten the list I took a lot of those titles out, and I'm thinking maybe I should like discuss those in like maybe a most surprising list, but we shall see. So I was able to narrow the top list to 15 titles. Now let's get started. Starting off strong at number 15 is Monique Olivier, Accessory to Evil. This is a 2023 Netflix true crime docuseries. It follows Monique Olivier, who assisted her serial killer husband in France. I just remember watching this and then, well, first of all, I'm a true crime girly. Second of all, I worked in an office with like 3 other true crime girlies, and I just remember watching this and all of us like watching it at the same time at work and just discussing it and like how crazy it was. And I think like not only was this like a good and like shocking documentary, but like just the aspect of like discussing it and like breaking it down with others, I think that added to the experience. So I'm gonna keep it short and not go into too much like detail. If it sounds like something you're interested in, like true crime, give it a watch. At number 14 is a 2023 reality show, and I feel like it was kind of like a random breakout hit of 2023, and that is Jury Duty. So in Jury Duty, there is Ronald, and he is just a walking green flag, and he literally carried the production. So he thinks that he is completing his jury duty service, and just all this crazy mishaps are occurring while he's completing his service. What he doesn't know is that it's all fake. Everyone is in on it except for him, and it's just this prank that is like pretty funny, but like it felt like no one was really harmed. So James Marsden's also in this, and he's hilarious as well. Number 13 is 3 Idiots. It's an Indian film that I've heard a lot about throughout the years. A lot of people I know have watched it and like highly recommends it, loves it, all that stuff. And it wasn't until my boyfriend told me that it was like one of his favorite films that I decided to finally sit down and watch it. And like I now understand all the praise it deserves, all the accolades. It's such a well told story from beginning to end. So the story is about like these college friends who, well, mainly it's like the 3 of them, and 2 of them lose touch with this one guy who's just like this free spirit who made their college experience really great. And his name is Rancho, and at this like time where they set to have like a reunion, Rancho doesn't show up, and they decide to like go find him. So it's told in 2, I guess, timelines. It shows like their past when they were college students, and it shows the present day search for Rancho. The story is funny, it has its heartwarming moments. I think it's still like the topics that it discussed is still very relatable to now, and the soundtrack was honestly really fun. Like I started playing the songs on Spotify right after. Number 12 is a twofer. It's Risque Business Japan and then Risque Business Taiwan. So the Japan one came out first earlier in the year, and I just really like the banter between the two hosts. They are just so funny and fun together. They have a great dynamic. And I also really like, in particular, Sun Si Kyung. I think his language skills are just very attractive. I remember after finishing the Japan one, I like got my best friend to watch it. I got my boyfriend to watch it. I thought it was just such a great like show. And then towards like, I would say like halfway through the year or so, Taiwan came out. And honestly, both of these are just really well done, progressive, informative shows about sex, sexuality, the adult entertainment business in Asia. And I gave Japan 5 stars, and then I gave Taiwan 4 stars. I just learned a lot from it, and I think the array and variety of people that they interviewed was just very great. I would like recommend it if you just like for education. Like, I think it's also really good. Number 11 is the first movie I watched in theaters in 2023, and that is Suzume. This movie was originally not on my radar. A friend in a group chat messaged the group chat and was like, hey, I recommend that you guys watch this animated film. It's really good. It's the same creator director as Your Name, Makoto Shinkai. And another friend in that group chat messaged me and was like, hey, are you free like this weekend? I got tickets, let's go watch it together. So I'm kind of paraphrasing the situation, but that's pretty much like how it happened, and that's how I watched it, and it was really, really good. Suzume depicts grief beautifully while discussing modern day issues plaguing Japan. The animation is stunning. The soundtrack is awesome. It tells a very, very compelling story. My only issue with it is the unnecessary romance. But like, just taking that out, like everything else was just like so great. I have a friend who loves Baymax. She named her white car after Baymax. So Big Hero 6 has been on my list for quite some time now. It wasn't until my boyfriend recently made a reference to Big Hero 6 that I was like, oh, I haven't seen it, that we decided to watch this animated film together. And honestly, it was really good. It's heartwarming and just a family-friendly film. The setting is really cool. The cast of characters is great. The plot was slightly a little bit predictable for me, but regardless, I still had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and Tadashi is so handsome. In 2023, Thai BL came into my life, and I have just been catching up. The first one that I started is King Porsche, and because of that, it will just always have a special place in my heart. There is just something about an adult gangster BL romance that I will always be a sucker for. The cast in this is just, they're just so awesome and like so much eye candy. The chemistry between the main couple was already so top notch, and then there's like an unexpected side couple that is introduced, and their chemistry is just sizzling hot. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. They just steal your soul. The story is just packed with action, humor, and emotions. The funniest character is the oldest brother. I think his name was like Tenkun. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, sorry. Unfortunately, the later episodes, the plot does become a little convoluted, but there is like a uncut version that I didn't watch. So I think once I watch that, then I will be able to like give my like full opinions. And maybe the rating will change in my mind. As I just mentioned earlier, Thai BL dramas came into my life in 2023. King Porsche was the first one I started, but the first one I finished was actually Only Friends. So Only Friends will always have a special place in my heart because it then introduced me to the actors on GMMTV's roster, and it's forever changed my Instagram feed. Now I'm just like catching up on like so many people's like lists of works, and there's just so many because they just make so many mini series in a year. But back to Only Friends. So Only Friends is a walking red flag, like a walking red parade. It's not for everyone, but it really worked for me. So it follows like a group of college friends. They're working on like their senior project, and it kind of like follows their like relationships that are all like somehow involved in like cheating. Yeah, like I said, it's not for everyone, but it had me eating out of the palm of its hands. Number 7, we are almost halfway now. Yay. So the reason why Severance is not higher on this list, even though it has a glowing 5 stars out of 5 stars rating, is because there will probably never be a second season. We will probably never know what happened, which is very, very disappointing. But Severance, wow, like it came out of nowhere. I was visiting a friend in San Diego, and we decided to just binge watch it in a day, and we were like hooked. We couldn't stop watching. The story was just so great, the cast was just so talented, and we are just like, oh, what is going on? So it's, I would say the first season was really great, regardless if there is a second season or not. However, I also wouldn't recommend starting it, just because then you will be heartbroken knowing that you will never get the full story. You are forever left hanging till your dying days. Number 6 is When I Fly Towards You, which is a mainland Chinese drama. It's actually by the same author as Hidden Love, which was also good, but I preferred When I Fly Towards You just a little bit more. When I Fly Towards You follows Su Dai Dai, who is a happy-go-lucky high school teen. She has a crush on the top student at the school, Zhang Luran, and it kind of is just her like chasing after him in a way, but then there's also this like really close knit group of friendship circle that is created, and this group of friends is absolutely everything. The story also like depicts growing pains really realistically. In addition to that, different family dynamics is explored, and I really like that, and I think like that needs to be highlighted as well. I just, in the end of the day, a campus setting innocent first love story will always steal my heart, as long as it's just like solidly done. And like all you really need, and what this delivers in as well, is just fluff and happiness, and that's what I got. So it's the year 2023, so obviously I watched Barbie in theaters, and not on the same day, but like a weekish later, I watched Oppenheimer in theaters. So yeah, I preferred Oppenheimer a bit more than Barbie. Barbie was great, but Oppenheimer was more of my jam. I will admit that Oppenheimer is a long film that feels long. I'm gonna be really honest with you. If I didn't watch it in cinemas, and like let's say I was like streaming it at home, I would have definitely taken a break and then potentially never gone back to finish it. So I'm glad that I watched it the way that I did, or else I would have missed out on just this like masterpiece. I think it's very well filmed. I think the pacing is amazing. The cast is great. My 2 biggest complaints is number 1, I think Robert Downey Jr.'s character, too much focus on him, and also there was no need for the scene of Florence Pugh being like naked. But yeah, other than that, like I think the movie just like all around, I don't know how like they could have cut it shorter, but like I was in my seat. I was there. I was holding in my pee and I watched it till the end. Number 4, I disgustingly loved My Personal Weatherman. And what I mean by that is that I was like watching it like as it was coming out, and then once like the final episode happened, I like went and like rewatched it like to binge it, and I like never really do that. So to do that, like I was just like, who am I? What is this behavior that like never happens? Like I can't even explain why I loved My Personal Weatherman so much. I just did, and I think sometimes it's just that kind of moment where like it comes at you at a right time and place in life where you needed something like that, and that's what like My Personal Weatherman did for me. I'll admit that the relationship is a little bit toxic. I feel like that was a running theme for the content that 2023 Vivian was consuming. What was wrong with her? A lot of things. Anyways, it's 2024. Will things be better? The synopsis. Yo and Mizuki meet in college, and like Mizuki kind of like propositions Yo like, hey, after graduation, if you want to like pursue art, he wanted to be like an erotic manga artist, which I guess is like a difficult job and it's like a low paying job. Anyways, Mizuki's like, I'm gonna make it big. I can take care of you. If you want, you can like come live with me and I'll take care of you. My only thing is that like you just have to like obey me. So yeah, that's like kind of the plot. I mean, it is the plot. And I think just like the cute moments were really cute. And the tyrannical, domineering moments, I was like into it. Number 3 is Kiseki, Dear to Me. I just really want to thank Taiwan in 2023 for giving us viewers just these 2 very solid couples / 4 actors to really support and root for. Like, I love them now. They're my children now, all 4 of them. Like, I cannot. Like, I was watching so much of like cast content that it was literally another job. And I just think like Kiseki did so many things right. And one of them, as I mentioned, is the fact that it is a gangster adult BL series. And I'm a sucker for that. And this was like very well done in that like niche genre trope, I guess. But some other tropes that they have is like age gap, friends to lover, one-sided unrequited love. So it has like really good music in it, and just the chemistry is just very good. There is a thing where like Bai Zhong-yi, when we first meet him, he is in high school still, senior year, I think, potentially maybe like 17, maybe 18. So he is like underage, and that like rubbed people the wrong way. But like, yeah, so proceed with caution on that aspect. The story does like fast forward after that into like 4 years later because of things that happen. Number 2 is Love Like the Galaxy. Zhao Lu Si has really solidified herself as one of my top 3 favorite Chinese actresses. She's just so cute and so charming, and her comedic timing is just on point. So in this we have Chen Shaoshan, and like right after her birth, her parents leave her behind to like fight in this war. When they return, Shaoshan is like an emerging young lady who has 0 palace manners and like very low like education, and it causes like trouble for her, but she still like manages to like catch the eye of the emperor's adopted son, General Ling Buyi. There's just like in the beginning, like the first half of this, there's just so much humor. Like it's literally so funny, all the antics that like Chen Shaoshan gets into. And then as it develops, like watching Chen Shaosan like grow up and like mature and fall in love and it not working out and like all those things, like I don't know, it's just such an epic tale in a way. There's just so much going on in terms of like, you know, slice of life, palace drama, betrayal, revenge, like it's just really good, like on all ends. And it's a really long, like Chinese costume drama, but it's so freaking worth it. It wasn't hard deciding who would take the #1 spot this year, but it was hard, I guess, like figuring if it was like worth the #1 spot, because I felt like there wasn't like a true like winner for #1 this year. Regardless, I went with Moro Oro. So I had a friend who posted about Moro Oro on Instagram, and I was like, hey, what is this about? It looks interesting. And so she told me, and I was intrigued, started watching, and I like fell in love with the first season. I gave the first season 5 out of 5 stars, and I like rewatched that first season. But yeah, so pretty much I fell in love with the first season, and then I just started binge watching the rest of the show. It's so good. Unfortunately, it gets prematurely, I guess, like the plug is pulled at the 3rd season. There is kind of a conclusion, but not really. However, there's like bonus content that you can find like online to like fulfill that need. But yeah, Moro Oro is amazing. It's so witty and hilarious. It's religious satire, dramatic comedy, and anyone that I know in real life that I think would like it, I've like introduced it to them, and here I am just like recommending it to people. Like if you are okay with like religious satire, like give Moro Oro a try. The claymation in this as well is like really endearing and adorable. Just to recap, so the first season got 5 stars, the second season got 4.75, and then the last season got 4.6. And the only reason why the last season is lower is simply because I calculated my disappointment of it not like being able to be told fully in the way that the creator wanted it. That's it. That is the best TVs and movies I watched in 2023. Next video is going to be my worst list, which I'm going to film right after, and then I might do books, and then afterwards go into most surprising. I think that will be the game plan. So outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye.